Hello, Richard the Dick Coughlin 616. This is a follow-up video to the last video I did on this channel. I would have done it sooner, but I've been a bit busy. The last video I did on this channel was called The Racist Homophobic Atheists of Atlanta, in which I responded to a rather old video by a group called the Black Atheists of Atlanta. And in the video, I was responding to them and comments they'd made regarding homosexuality and the trusting of white scientists. Now, I had a lot of responses to it. The overall response was good, but there is a general feeling about one or two comments I said and I made in the video, and I want to sort of go over them because I think a lot of people are overreacting and they're hearing something that's not actually the same thing as what they think it is. One of the guys made some comments regarding African culture and European culture, and that if you are to if black people absorb into European culture, then that is genocide. I said the comment, if you love African culture so much, fuck off to Africa. Now, a lot of people have made this comparison that what I said is no different to what Nick Griffin from the BNP or David Duke or any other racist white nationalist would say to any other black person. Now, of course, it is true that these people will go up to black people or any non-white people and tell them to fuck off where they came from. I want to make one thing clear. I never said fuck off back. Now, it might not seem a little thing there, but I actually said fuck off to Africa. I didn't say fuck off back. Fuck off back would imply that he belongs there anyway. Now, I want to make the difference here. White nationalists, white racists, people like Nick Griffin, BNP, the KKK, whatever, they will go up to any and all non-white people, apropos of nothing, and tell them to fuck off back where they came from, regardless of who that person is and what their feelings are and how they feel about the country and how they've integrated into whatever way you want to put it. Right? They will say that to anyone. I wasn't talking to any random black people and telling them, apropos of nothing, to fuck off back to Africa. I was talking to two gentlemen who apparently don't want to in any way integrate or take on or be part of the dominant culture of the country they live in. They instead wish to be part of a completely foreign culture, African culture. And if you listen to the Black Atheists of Atlanta, they actually want ultimately to segregate off black people from white people into all the southern states. You're not going to be able to create your own African culture in a country unless, of course, you segregate people off, which is not a good thing, I don't think, or you could convince the other 300 million non-black people to take on African culture, which isn't going to happen. Or there's one other thing you can do. What is that? You can fuck off to Africa. Now, a lot of people seem to sort of keep saying to me, well, would you say that to a white person? Yes, I would say it to a fucking white person. I have said it to white people. The other day, I was having a conversation with a white friend of mine on the internet, and they made a comment saying that they thought that the government of Iran was actually probably better than the government of America. And I said to them, that's right, fuck off to Iran then. That's what I said. It's got nothing to do with them being black. It's to do with what they want. If I was talking to a white person who lived in China and they talked about how they hated Chinese culture and they didn't want to absorb or take on or in any way be part of Chinese culture, instead they wish they were rather part of some sort of American culture or European culture, guess what I would tell them? Fuck off to Europe or America. That's the difference that people seem to avoid. That's the part that people don't seem to be able to grasp. I've used, for the last 3.5 years, I've spent a great deal of my time spinning the rhetoric of white nationalists back on them and using their own weapons against them. Right? No one moans about the state of their country more than a nationalist. Nobody. So I turn around and say to them, well, if you don't like it here, fuck off. Because that's what they say to people who moan about this country or the country they live in. I'm amazed that people, so many people seem to sort of just hear what I say, fuck off to Africa then. I was talking to a guy who was pro-segregation, who believed that him being part of mainstream American culture was genocide. And I don't care if it makes you feel uncomfortable when I compare them to David Duke. They have the same principles. They have the same beliefs. They're just a different shade of colour. That's the only fucking difference, okay? And I knew ultimately I would get a different reaction from some people because I was a white guy and they were black guys. But here's the difference now. Equality, right? Equality can only exist if we treat each other equally. Is it fair to say that a black guy who's a minority is going to have different reasons for being racist than a white guy who's part of the majority? Yes. Does that make either of their positions more justifiable or acceptable? No. Equality doesn't always play in your favour, and I don't care if you're a black racist homophobe or a white racist homophobe, and the second I start caring whether you're a black homophobe or a white homophobe, I've started being racist. Richard the Dick Coughlin, 616. Good night, may God bless.